Kim, this is the first tree we planted at Prairie Arboretum in 1999, and it was sponsored, the sign and the planting of the tree and the care of the tree for its lifetime. That was sponsored by a member of this community, and so that is always an option for people to sponsor a tree, and then for like $500, that is goes as an honorarium or an endowment for the care of the tree. So all throughout the Arboretum, that is one example we have as a source of revenue and as a way for people to remember typically those that have died or passed on. This typically, Kim, is an oak tree like we have up in the center part of Prairie Arboretum. Uh, Similar to the oak savanna, they're spread quite a distance apart, as you might find in the prairie ecosystem. Also in this area, we have the tall grasses. This here is this is big blue stem. There are three major grasses. There's switchgrass, and you can see the seed head. It's quite different than big blue stem. There also is Indian grass, which we don't have at this site, but we have at another place at the prairie. Those three grasses were part of the main three tall grass prairie plants that grew to be 3 to 4, sometimes 5 feet tall. Can we also have little blue stem, which has a nice bright red color in fall, and we have Cytotes grama and some of the other prairie plants. So this is the area that we really try and focus in preserving the prairie plants as they are. The first part of the summer, we cut the grass short, which is primarily the cool season grass, so the prairie plants have a chance to thrive in the latter part of the summer. So that is typical of Prairie Arboretum. There always is that interplay between highly manicured along the water and having certain areas that are more naturalized. And it's that interplay that I think will allow people to have an appreciation for the natural world and for the natural ecosystem that you might find here at Prairie Arboretum. These are our seedlings of the second largest bur oak, Quercus macrocarpa, which is the Latin, in Kansas. And that tree is the parent tree. These were planted as acorns maybe 10, 15 years ago. That tree, the parent tree for these seedlings, which seedling is a plant that grows from a seed. The parent of this seedling is a very wide branching oak tree that's perhaps 300 years old. And I'd like to step off for you the distance from the trunk to the outermost branch. The distance is almost 75 to 100 feet. So the circumference of the spread is well over 100 feet. What we see here is what we call the prairie travelers. Really, they are large stone that were brought down by the glacier that came down 40,000 years ago and settled on a farm about 7 miles southeast of where we are now. They were found in some real large stone piles that my great-great-grandfather and his children picked up. They're laid in this area here because this acts as a spillway for the water that flows out of the pond area of Prairie Arboretum. In a normal spring with snow melt, there'll be a lot of water coming in, washing over this area. It also serves as an educational resource for students because by looking at these, you can see the different types of stone, and also talk about what happened long before the European settlers came. So this will be we'll plan to have this lit up at night as a special focal point of Prairie Arboretum. This is the largest of the, in a sense, three pond areas that are interconnected by the relatively narrow channels. This pond is about 15 feet deep when it's full. It's about 3 feet from full now. It will be a wonderful place for ice skating in winter, and certainly should be habitat for some nice-sized fish. So the thing that I think is important about the water is that since we are in an area that typically is short on rainfall, we often are looking for rain. We're looking for water. And the fact that there is so much water at Prairie Arboretum, I think will be a resource for the people that'll feel good. It'll feel good to be here because they're close to water. Because when all of the people that have come from the land, from the farm families, they all have experienced, in a sense, the harsh hand of drought. And in a sense, this can be sort of a cooling effect or a place to feel good at or by. One of the questions was, how did we know where to put things or where to plant things, where to have the water? The water, of course, is in the area that was low, so we simply excavated out the low areas, and that gave us the form that we have of the pond area. In terms of the trees, this is a northeast slope. We know that maple trees like a northeast slope, and so we put the land basically told us where to plant the trees as well. Maples do not like wet feet, and out to the south we have the poplars and the ash trees, which do well under wet conditions. The conifers across the water in the distance do not like wet feet. They like dry feet. In other words, they need to be planted where it never gets too wet at all. So basically, by looking at this 40-acre tract of ground and, in a sense, allowing the land to tell us what to do, it gave us some insight in terms of its development. Our next major project is to develop the amphitheater area. And that will be an area it'll be an outdoor seating area that'll seat perhaps 150 to 175 people with a stage area across the little pond, which is immediately adjacent to the amphitheater. So I think that's going to be an excellent place to have outdoor concerts and to have perhaps summer theater. It'll be a natural setting for some of the arts which are really strong at Freeman Academy here.